the ETF Inspector, Saturday, July 19th, almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this video is just my own personal trades and holdings in my trading account for the past week. Just a fun video. This one doesn't really give you any information that you're looking for on any of your yield max or round hill funds. Just kind of having fun documenting what I'm doing. So I have a couple different types of trades. I've got some poor man covered calls, I've got some wheels, and I've got some spreads. Then I have some of the dividend or the option income funds. And so I just kind of go through everything. And if you like it, great. If you think those are stupid trades, tell me. If you made the same trades I did, that's cool too. Let me know. So we'll start off with poor man's covered call. It was time this past week to roll my position. So poor man's covered call, I bought a leap back in March for Intel. Paid a total of $895 for a $15 call that expires January of 2026. And then I've been selling calls off of that ever since to try and generate income. So instead of having to, the price at the time was $22.67. So instead of having to invest $2,267 to have 100 shares and then sell calls off of it, I only had to invest $895 and then was able to sell calls. So with that though, you're going to sell calls a little further out of the money because you don't want to get assigned because you don't actually have the shares. Not that it's the end of the world. We've had one go against us, but you still end up making money. So the most recent trade, last week's, I sell these out usually about a month. I did something a little different this time. So I closed out the one expiring July 18th. It was a $23 strike. I paid 18 cents per share to close it. And I sold the next one only for a week as opposed to normally where I try to sell out a month. And that is because it is right around earnings. So in 1 week, I was able to pick up 55 cents per share, where in previous times I was only getting, 40 cents a share for a whole month. I got 55 cents for a week, and I actually was able to increase it to a 24 strike from a 23. So I'm going to do that one, and then I will roll this again this week out a month, most likely. So I collected 55 cents per share, coming out to $54 as of close on Friday. Intel's at 23.10, so it's not really close to my 24 strike. The call that is purchased is valued at $8.85 if I wanted to sell that, and the current one that I just sold closed at 62. So I actually could have got more money if I had held off on that roll, but I don't have a crystal ball, so still doing okay. And then just the only thing tracking over here, right? I initially paid $8.95, but after selling a couple calls off of that, my cost is down to $7.23. This is just average annual yield on each individual trade, so I'm averaging like 32% a year. So the goal, as I get towards the end, if I want to keep doing this, I will roll that leap into another long one out another year or so. But if not, I'll just close the whole thing out and move on and do something else. So that's Intel. I have another one for SoFi, which I did not make any trades on. The SoFi one has gone against me in a good way. I initially bought a $5 strike leap, paying $6.83. I kind of went against my own rules. Supposed to not pay more than 50% of the share price. So it was at $10.70. I paid $6.83, but it's okay. So overall, in the beginning, came out of pocket $6.83. Sold calls off of it. Well, this share price has gone from $10.70 all the way up to now most recently $21.81. So I currently have a August 1st call sold with a $15 strike. So that is way in the money. Surprised they haven't exercised it yet, but if they do, it's not the end of the world. So if they exercise it, then I have to sell them 100 shares for $15, even though SoFi's at 21. The good side is I'll get to buy 100 shares for $5. So it's all going to work out. The same thing happened to me on APLD. But if it comes back down a little bit, or if I get the opportunity, I will just keep on rolling it and collecting money in the meantime, because I've got all the way out till January 2027 on this one. So my original purchase for 683 is currently valued at 17.35 a share, so that's a nice increase. But these 15s that I sold, collecting $1.46 a share, are going to cost 680 to close. So no trades were done. Don't need to keep on going about that. Those are my two poor man's covered calls. Next, I've got some wheels going. If you've watched any of these before or any of my other videos, I say it all the time. IonQ is my favorite one to trade. So I have sold puts. I've been assigned. I've sold calls. I've been assigned. I've gone back to selling puts. So I am currently at the point of selling puts. And on, let's see, on the 11th, I sold this, expiring this past Friday, the 18th, a 40. Where are we going? Okay, I sold a $41 put while the stock was at $42.92. I collected 89 cents or $89 for the full option contract. I was able to close that out on Thursday, paying 8 cents. So I kind of hit my mark. I like to keep 90% is the goal. So if I collected, say, 80 cents, I'm going to try and close out for 8 cents. So got a little bit extra because I collected 89 and paid 8. So that was a nice one. Nothing really to worry about. And then I wanted to sell the next put, just waiting for a day for IonQ to stop going up, and that didn't happen. It just kept on going up all the way to 46. I don't want to chase it with my put strikes, so I did something a little different. You'll see that later. So the only thing in the wheel this week was a debit of $8 for IonQ. Now, over the course of all my trading this year on IonQ, I've profited $941. That includes getting assigned way back at $39 a share and $35 a share, and the stock running all the way down to like 18. I was selling calls back when the stock was $18. So we rode the roller coaster down and back up again. That's what's beautiful about options and the wheel strategy. So I've made profit through it all, and my average annual return on capital for trades within IonQ is 100% a year. So I love this stock. Next, this is a degenerate move. If you watch Retire on Dividends, I'm a rod degenerate. So my brother sends a text. We have a group text with a couple of us in the family. He sends a text and says, "Hey, this Open's got a lot of odd option activity on it. Last time he told us about one of those, it was for Rocket Lab. The stock was around $5. I got in. I ended up selling the stock for $21, so that was a win. Just don't look at the price of Rocket Lab right now. It'll hurt my feelings. But time, let's do it. So I sold my shares for a 4 times profit at 21. Yeah, there's Rocket Lab today. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But anyway, so I'll make degenerate moves like this when it's a small amount of money. I sold a put on a $2 stock, so it's not the end of the world if I lose the full 200. But all I did, $2 put, stock's at 224. I was able to get. I sold it August 1st. I was able to get 42 cents per share for that, or $42 minus the commission. And realistically, so if this trade makes it all the way to August 1st, that would come out to be $3 a day on $200 collateral, or 538% annual. If I close it out earlier, it'll end up being a higher profit per day. But and if I get assigned, then I'll start selling calls on them. I don't know that I'm looking to start a wheel on a $2 stock necessarily, but who knows? I mean, if I get assigned, then this might be my next Rocket Lab. But $42 there, not bad for $200. meant to close that so we don't go back to it. Next, I've got a wheel multiple on TSLL, but actually not really because I've never been assigned. So I just keep on selling puts on TSLL, especially. I love it when President Trump and Elon get in a little tiff. The stock drops with no relation to how the company's doing. I'm happy to sell on fear. So I sell puts on that. It usually bounces back up within a day or two, and I get to collect free money. In this case, though, these are all sold out past the earnings date. So the 25th, that's why I was able to get some extra premium selling these pretty far out of the money. No trades were performed on this week. These were all done in previous weeks. The 950 and the 9 were last week, and the 10 was from back on the 30th. TSLA closed at 1240, so currently my 10, 950, and 9 are nowhere near in danger. And I could have closed them out for 12 cents, 9 cents, and 5 cents, but if I wasn't going to turn around and sell more, I figured why give up the money? If I was going to immediately close it and sell another one, then they're at good prices because I collected 62, 30, and 20. But realistically, I'd like to close that for 6 cents or less, 3 cents or less, and 2 cents or less. So they're not quite there yet. So I'm just going to let them ride. And it's not the end of the world if I get assigned, because then I'll be able to start selling some calls. But I like TSLL for options trading. But no trades were performed this week on it. All right, that's it for wheels. Now here I got another degenerate move and a frustration move. So I got a decent amount where if you watched before, I had puts on Bitto, I had puts on Mara, puts on Webull, and then also you saw like IonQ. So I had a lot of things that have closed out and the stocks have run up, and I don't want to chase them up selling puts. So I don't like the prices where they've gone to. So I don't want to own them up in those ranges. So that leaves, money sitting around burning a hole in my pocket. And I don't like it. So I wanted some content for this video, so I sold some more things. I did a put spread on GameStop. It expires next week, so it's just a 1 week one. A couple extra days in there. Stock's at $23.52. I sold the put at $22.50 and bought another put at $20 just in case. I don't necessarily want to own GameStop. That's why I didn't do a wheel. I just did a put spread. So it's a $2.50 spread. I collected 22 cents, so that's putting $250 on the line, collecting $22 minus the commissions and fees. And then IonQ, I love trading them, but they're getting too high for me, and I got a feeling they're just getting a little too high altogether. So at 46.53, I sold a call credit spread next week with the sold strike at 52 and the purchased one at 57. So it's a $5 spread. Collected $42 off of that. So as long as GameStop ends up next week above $22.50, I just get to keep that money for free. And as long as IonQ ends next week below $52, I get to keep the money from that for free. I have not had a good year with spreads, as you can see. Overall, I've lost money on spreads, and that's because I let a couple of them get out of hand rather than closing them early, and I actually closed other ones early that eventually turned into wins. So I am still learning as I go on spreads. They're not my favorite, but Circle's got a lot to do with that. They've kicked my butt multiple times and took big chunks of money from me. But all right, so now last part is my dividend funds. All right, I own shares in, this is in my trading account. I also own other funds from Yield Max and Roundhill in my 401k, but I don't really talk about that. They're kind of on set it and forget it, where these are more for trading and income. So I've got the ticker next to the amount of shares, and the yellow that's the only one I actually added to my holdings this past week. So I brought it up to 615. I've got a 617 cost basis for Ulti. So most people would be happy when the price goes up, but I want to buy more down cheaper on my cost basis. So I didn't like seeing the stock price go up, or the fund price. But anyway, I am doing well. The current price is above my cost basis on all funds, with the exception of Netflix, and that's because Netflix had a pretty rough week this week. So as you can see, I'm wrong. Misty as well. Misty's below my cost average. It just recently wasn't. Did I forget that? I might have forgotten to update that one. Did Misty drop on Friday? You guys probably know. No, oh yeah, down 5%. But anyway, this is how my trading account money is split up, other than those other options that we just talked about. So far this month, I've collected $454 in dividends off of roughly $14,000 worth of investments. Total this year, it's up to $23.71. Two of these, YMAX and Ulti, are weekly, so I'll continue to get more for this month from them. And then Netflix is going to pay this upcoming week, so that blank will get filled in. So going to be over 500 for the month. Not bad. Nothing super impressive either. We'll come back to what I just scrolled past. My YMAX, man, the distributions just keep on shrinking, right? We're all the way down. This was the lowest weekly that I've gotten from them yet. So 2207. And then Ulti, this was my highest weekly from them, but that makes sense. One, it was a 10-cent distribution, but also because I keep adding shares. So that's the only dividends I got this past week, Ulti and YMAX, so that number's a little lower than normal. And then I decided to boost it up because if you've listened to me in some of the other videos, I am kind of feeling way more comfortable with Ulti than with all the rest, because Ulti's kind of the only one that's got that downside protection. So it kind of makes money all the time, and they're not locked into what their underlyings are. They can get rid of them if it's no good and switch to something else. Whereas, YMAX is just what all the individual income funds combined. But Misty, if MicroStrategy shut their doors tomorrow, it doesn't matter how good the traders are, Misty dies. Same thing with Netflix, Amazon, and Apple. Now, obviously, they're not stocks that are going anywhere. But either way, I like Ulti more. So what I did was I sold covered calls pretty close to the money on all these other funds. They don't really bring in a lot of money, but I just don't care. If they end in the money, I sold at the first strike above my cost basis. So I won't be selling anything for a loss. So I've got Misty at 23. The price was at 22.82 at the time, so that actually dropped, on Friday and nowhere close. So I collected $35 on that one. Netflix sold it for $19 when the stock was at $18.27, but then it dropped. So I'll probably just be keeping that one and selling another. Collected $20 there. Aptly sold for a strike at 13 with the stock at 13, so basically right at the money. Collected $29. AMZs I sold at 16 with the stock actually at 16.05, collecting $31. And finally, YMAX, didn't really get much for it. Sold a $14 strike with the stock at 14 at the time and collected $10. So it doesn't really amount to much, but I don't care if I keep those shares. I'd be perfectly happy if those get assigned, I get money, and I dump it into Ulti. But what that did do was made it my best total trade there. This is selling calls on the Dividend ETFs. So I collected $131.23 from them. I already mentioned the Ulti and YMAX. Dividends they combined to be 84.17 this week. The trades on IonQ, so that would be the call spread minus the $8 that I paid to close out in my wheel, the cash secured put. TSLL. Now, this might be a mistake. I don't think I made any money off of TSLL this week, did I? Oh, I did. I sold both of these no. Yes. Oh, man, I can't think. I sold those Monday, so that I messed up. So I brought in that $50 minus the fees. So TSLL, I collected 48.64. All right. Intel, that was the rolling of the poor man's covered call, collected 36. GameStop, that was the put spread, $21. And open, that was the degenerate move. My brother said, hey, guess what? This looks good. So altogether, totaled $395.33 in income this week in my trading account. So that's all I've got for you. Last thing is the dad joke, but before I do, I guess not the last thing, right? I want to thank everybody for watching these. I know these don't get as much views. This is just kind of for the people. This is fun. I enjoy options trading, even when I don't do a good job at it. But I wanted to let you know, right, the previous week review and the week look ahead video, if you're into any of those 7 individual income funds, that video is out. Friday's review of trades for both Roundhill over here and Yield Max, Ulti, and LFGY. Those videos are out if you want to see how they ended their week. And then, of course, the everyone's favorite video is the week look ahead. That's for Ulti and LFGY, along with the distribution guesstimate. That video will be made and put out tomorrow, Sunday. So stay tuned for that. All right, that's all I've got for you other than the dad joke. So what do you call a happy cowboy? A jolly rancher. All right, go back to enjoying your great weekend, and I will talk to you tomorrow in the Ulti LFGY video. Have a good day.